In 1913, the Federal Reserve was created as a supposed safeguard against future economic woes the country may face. The fifth plank of the Communist Manifesto reads, "Centralization of credit in the hands of the state by means of a national bank with state capital and exclusive monopoly." This exactly describes our Federal Reserve system. Do you support Ron Paul's Audit the Fed bill, which would allow the American public to see what the Federal Reserve does behind closed doors, something that has never happened in the history of the Federal Reserve? And do you support the eventual abolishment of the Federal Reserve, a system that allows big government to grow through its constant expansion of the money supply? It is the statist's greatest tool in the usurpation of our liberties.
I'm going to answer the good questions. I'm going to answer the second question first. Do I support abolishing the Fed? That is like passing judgment before you have a trial. If I or anyone else, regardless of the preponderance of the evidence, if we're going to move towards casting judgment, saying get rid of it, that would be just like someone having a job and a supervisor saying this person needs to be fired without allowing them to have due process of having their side of the case heard. So, as sincere as you may be, as passionate as you may be, as convinced you may be that the Federal Reserve needs to go away, and by the way, I suspect it probably should go away, but I don't know.
That's the reason for audit the Fed.
That's right. I believe it's irresponsible to come out with a judgment prior to an investigation. And so, while I think that the course that follows may be eventually abolishing the Fed, I think the right sequence needs to be, yes, let's audit the Federal Reserve. Let's get in there and see what those bankers that are assigned there are doing. Let's get to see how they're controlling the money supply. Let's get to see exactly how we are being manipulated by the Federal Reserve. Let's also see the good they may be doing. And then in the end, let that report go to Congress. The findings and recommendations from that audit go to Congress, go to the President and the American people, and a determination be made then. Then and only then, decide whether or not you move to abolish it. Thank you. I'm going to give you a little trivia. My initials are WAR. W-A-R. My grandmother, my paternal grandmother's name was America, her real name. My mother told us, coming up so many times, she said, son, always remember the last 4 letters in the word American.
I can.
We can applaud on that one. Let's all remember that. Let's all remember that. We're down, but we're not out. Yes, it's going to be a challenge. We're going to meet the challenge head on. And we're going to keep fighting, and we're going to keep clawing, and we're going to keep scratching. We're going to keep doing it until we restore the republic, and we're not going to relent.
The thing that has impressed me the most about you tonight, I may not have agreed with every single word, but you spent virtually no time whatsoever criticizing your opponent. As you hit the campaign trail, I would urge you to continue to do that. We want to hear about you. What do you believe? What will you do when you get there? I already know who Brad Miller is. I don't care. And I just applaud you for that, because very few politicians do that. They spend most of their time. They spend their time telling me why I should not vote for the other guy. Tell me who you are and why I should vote for you. So thank you for doing that. My question is this: how do you feel about foreign aid? Is that a good use of our tax dollars?
I think that you're talking about the United States helping foreign governments?
Handing out money, yeah.
Well, I think that to an extent, it depends on what foreign aid you're talking about. I think certain humanitarian efforts if doled out responsibly, are definitely not just desirable, but they're actually vital for us to do that. It was the right thing for us to do when they had the tsunami, or they had the earthquake in Haiti, for us to render aid right away. I think that they could have done a better job, not only in mobilizing contributions, but getting our military into those places instead of waiting. So I believe that it has its place. I think we need to do so responsibly. But even above the efforts that our government makes, what people don't realize is that the American people are among the most generous people on the face of the earth, with the number or the amount of funds and resources that they send to various causes around the world. So in addition to our government, we have the American people too. So my answer to your question is, yes, I believe humanitarian aid should be, but I think it needs to be given out wisely. Make sure that the governments getting it are accountable for their actions, and they account for the funds that are given there, so that you're not giving it to, let's say, a Middle Eastern country where the money is funneled into some organization that uses it in ways that are against our national interests, if you know what I'm saying.